The memory of that day feels like it happened a lifetime ago, but the impact of my decision still lingers. I was fresh out of college, full of ambition and stubborn dreams, convinced that I could break free from the conventional life everyone expected of me. The corporate world was laid out like a perfect blueprint, but I chose to crumple it up and chase something of my own. With trembling hands, I declined a high-paying job offer that everyone swore was the pinnacle of success. Instead, I pursued a risky startup idea with my best friend, fueled by passion and the arrogance of youth. The rejection from my family hit hard. Disappointed faces and bitter arguments became the soundtrack of my days. But I believed it was worth it, that proving myself would mend everything. I was wrong. My decision to quit my well-paying corporate job wasn't made on a whim. For years, I'd been climbing the ladder, meeting deadlines, and living up to expectations. The pressure was immense, and the sacrifices countless. Relationships suffered, my health deteriorated, and the only thing left to show for it was a substantial paycheck I hardly ever got the chance to enjoy. It was during a rare moment of quiet reflection that I realized how empty my life felt. The thought of continuing on the same path for another decade was suffocating. So, with trembling hands and a mind cluttered with doubt, I handed in my resignation letter. The moment it was out of my hands, a wave of panic and exhilaration washed over me. I'd given up the stability I had worked so hard to achieve. The world outside my corporate bubble was suddenly too vast and overwhelming. The decision to travel the world came shortly after leaving my job. I had saved enough money to last me a while, and I convinced myself it was time to live, truly live, before it was too late. I wanted to rediscover myself beyond spreadsheets and sales targets. Every country I visited opened my eyes to new perspectives. From the vibrant streets of Tokyo to the serene beaches of Bali, I was intoxicated by the beauty of it all. I was free from deadlines, yet a different kind of pressure followed me wherever I went. The pressure of finding meaning, of proving that my choice wasn't a mistake. The joy of exploration was often shadowed by the fear of an uncertain future. Returning home was like walking into a ghost town. Everything was the same, but I had changed. My friends had moved on with their lives, settling into careers, marriage, and children. I had nothing but memories of my travels and the gnawing realization that I hadn't found what I was looking for. The freedom I once craved now felt like a heavy chain, pulling me down into a pit of regret. I tried to reconnect with my old life, but the conversations were shallow, forced. People couldn't relate to my experiences, and I couldn't relate to their steady lives. The loneliness was unbearable. With my savings dwindling, I decided to try my hand at freelancing. The work was unpredictable, and the pay was inconsistent. I bounced from project to project, each one promising a semblance of stability, but rarely delivering. The hours were long, and the clients were demanding. Yet something about the struggle felt authentic, like I was finally fighting for something real. The pressure to succeed became a new kind of motivation. I poured my soul into every assignment, desperate to prove to myself that leaving my old life wasn't a catastrophic mistake. But with every missed deadline and rejected pitch, doubt continued to fester. I hit rock bottom one night, staring at my empty bank account, overwhelmed by the realization that I might have ruined my life. The freedom I had once craved felt like a cruel joke. I had no safety net, no plan, only the remnants of a dream I could barely recall. That night, I broke down, letting out years of frustration, guilt, and regret. It was as if the weight of every decision I had ever made came crashing down on me. But amid the darkness, a small, stubborn spark of determination flickered. I couldn't give up. Not now, not after everything I had been through. Determined to rebuild, I took every opportunity I could find. I studied new skills, networked with others, and pushed myself harder than ever before. Slowly, my efforts started paying off. The freelance gigs became more consistent, and I found myself genuinely enjoying the creative freedom I had always wanted. My confidence grew, not because I had reached some grand achievement, but because I was finally carving my own path, mistakes and all. The success was small, but it was mine, and that made all the difference. Eventually, I found myself mentoring others who were going through their own struggles. Sharing my experiences, both the failures and the victories, helped me gain a deeper understanding of my journey. I was no longer ashamed of my past decisions. Instead, I embraced them as essential steps that had led me to this point. The conversations I had with others were raw and honest, and for the first time I felt a sense of purpose that transcended my own ambitions. My story had meaning, not just for me, but for those who found themselves lost, just as I had been. Looking back, I realized that the life I had once dreamed of wasn't the life I truly wanted. Leaving my corporate job, traveling the world, and struggling to find my place were all part of a journey that reshaped me. It taught me resilience, empathy, and most importantly, how to be at peace with my choices. I no longer viewed my decisions as mistakes, but as lessons that shaped me into who I am today. I learned that life is not about reaching a specific destination. It's about embracing the journey, with all its imperfections and uncertainties. And for the first time, I was genuinely content.